discredit you.
This is Pod With Me.
She said, I don't want him getting in the swimming pool, and I don't want him coming back wearing any makeup.
Get a sound check.
Are you ready to pod?
Let's go.
Here with Mal Chestnut. That's how you pronounce it. Tell us a story when you walked in and saw your son putting on makeup. Tell us how it all happened.
My son had mentioned to me about a month and a half before that he, we were riding in the car going to my mother's, and he said, would you put some makeup on me? And I knew that he had always been a little bit different than the other boys at school.
But wait, what went through your mind at that moment when he said about putting on makeup?
I knew that this moment was going to eventually probably come, but I wasn't ready for it at that moment. I actually was I didn't know whether to cry or to laugh. I wasn't sure what kind of response he was expecting me to have. I just I was quiet for a second, and I just said, sure, we can do that, next time we have some time to do that. So, yeah, I just felt kind of numb, I guess, just.
And it's funny because what you do for a living, nobody will think you would be numb, or because you're surrounded by gay men. The
gay community is the only family that I've known since I was my young adulthood. So being around drag queens or men that wear makeup is actually like normal for me to see. But when it's your child, that is doing it, it really it's a different feeling. It's not a bad feeling, but it's just more of a feeling, I think, of just being scared for him, because I know what I've seen firsthand, how hard it is for someone that's gay to live in today's world. People are hateful, and I lost 13 friends in Orlando when that shooting happened with that Pulse. So I instantly was thinking about all of that. It was just going through my head. But I work in the nightlife. I manage some of the top DJ producers in our industry, in the circuit dance industry, throughout the country, some in Europe. So yeah, I'm around this, the gays pretty much 24/7.
And Mel, can you imagine the parents out there who are not used to the environment and they have to go through this? Anyway, to shed some light on this and give us all some advice on what to do, we have Dr. Alex Fusia, who is a clinical psychologist, and you're actually Cuban, right? From Miami?
I'm actually a product of Miami, and I grew up around many, many people, and I'll share a story with you. My grandfather lived in New York since 1942. He left Cuba. He was a Spaniard, and he was a very, very macho guy. And my mom was in New York. And she tells me the story that when she was 8, my grandfather looked at her in the village when my grandfather lived, and said to her, you are to respect these people. They're people just like you and me. And just because they're different doesn't mean that they're different. They're actually normal. And my mom learned to respect that. And she passed that on to me. One of the things that, when you have a child that is different, that child is beautiful in every way and every eye. Just because they dressed up in clothing that's different than other people's clothing doesn't set them apart from anybody else. The thing to do is to give them unconditional love, support, understand them.
Mel's here. She's a little bit emotional because we are talking. This is the first time she speaks out loud about this, and it just happens, right? It's fresh, a couple weeks ago. Right now, where are you at? What was the last thing that happened? What's been going on since you saw him? I know that you in our promo. I don't know if you guys saw the promo. She filmed him. She went along with it. I think your reaction was great because you went along with you didn't react to him. You didn't say that's wrong. You didn't say anything like that. You let him put makeup on you. And I think the way you addressed it was great because it doesn't make him feel weird. Tell us about that moment when he was putting makeup on you and the whole thing and what's been going on from there on.
About 2 weeks ago, he was in my bathroom at the makeup table, and he was doing his makeup. And he had told me, the first time about 2 months ago when he told me he wanted me to put makeup on him, I said, well, I just wanted to ask questions after, after that night, I started thinking about it, and I was wanting to find out where it was stemming from. I had asked him, was he watching YouTube videos? And at first he just said, I don't know. And then a week or two later, he asked me out of the blue, he says, do you know who James Charles is? And I was like, oh, that sounds familiar, but no. So he put YouTube on our TV in the living room, and he pulled up this makeup artist, James Charles, that's young. He's millions of followers, and he's so fascinated with James Charles. And he even asked me if I could get him a palette, James Charles palette for makeup, because he said that but they're all sold out. But this James Charles has him so fascinated with the art of putting it on and the colors, and he knew word for word some of the videos. He was sitting there reciting it, and he would look at me in the corner of his eye to see if I'm watching, that he knew, word for word what this guy was saying.
You weren't aware he was watching this Landon guy, right?
Right. I was not aware at all.
And he doesn't know about your lifestyle as far as work, what you do and who you hang out with.
Right. He has never seen any pictures with me with drag queens, or he knows that I work with DJs, but he has no idea that it's with the gay community. I keep that completely separate from my home life. Bizarre about this whole thing is you would think that maybe he just sees his mom, has all her friends are gay. She works in the gay community, but it's actually quite the opposite. I don't put anything in his face. He just knows that mommy works with DJs and goes to events. He doesn't know any details. So he was in the bathroom, and he was pretending that he was. I'm assuming he was pretending he was James Charles, and he was. He had makeup all over his face, and he drew one unibrow, and then he was teaching he was looking at himself in the mirror, pretending that he had an audience, and he was, And
you were he didn't know you were there, obviously.
He didn't know I was there at first. So then I went in and I sat down, and he did my makeup. He put my makeup on me, and that's just been 2 weeks ago. So now he's wanting to color his hair.
So now it's going to a step further.
I just told him that, maybe over the summer we could do that. But
what a cool mom.
Yeah, I try.
I don't know what, it's all about the advice you give him. But I believe if you, give him some rules and tell him how it is, that'll always stick with him, and he'll go down a good path.
Well, it's what's hard is that my mom, born in Troy, Alabama, she's very, very old fashioned, and she's 150% against anything that, is not traditional. When we were leaving my mother's house, just day before yesterday, she said, I don't want him getting in the swimming pool, and I don't want him coming back wearing any makeup. And
she knows already that he puts makeup?
She knows that he has been putting on makeup with me, because he goes back home with a little bit of, makeup on his eyes, or, we try to wash it off. But I bought a box of Cheerios for him, and when I dropped it off at her house, it had Ellen DeGeneres on it, and she took a Sharpie and drew a wig on her, and she's like, I don't know what this nonsense bringing into my house, and drew a wig on Ellen, because she's very tough. So Landon is right now, I can tell, just even like a mother's instinct, that I can't do that because it's going to upset grandma. So he's like, when he's with me, he can be himself. Then when he's with grandma, he's having to hide it. And that's my struggle, because he's with her a lot, because I'm I work a lot. He prefers pretty much to live with grandma most of the time than at our house. And then I have a brother that's 12 years older than me that lives with my mom. He's just like her. He's backwoods country boy, cowboy hat wearing. It's all about being a guy, and Landon struggles with him too. So that's where I think the balance is off.
So what do you have to say about the situation Mel's at, as far as the family, the grandmother and the brothers?
The first thing I want to say is congratulations on being a supportive mom, because you're using your love, that is basic esteem needs from Maslow. If I can use a model of basic needs, it's self-worth, self-love, nutrition, just support. You are a mom. You are the one that created this beautiful work of art that you brought to this world. Nobody else has to do with that. My best advice to you, and I want to share this with you, is find a core support of professional people. If your son Landon is going to continue to see his grandma and the uncle who may be a bully in the future, find a therapist, and I can help you to do that, that can talk to all the parties involved, because it seems that your boy lives a lot with grandma, and if that is the case, they must understand individuality. And we are with the times. We are not living in the Middle Age or in the Flintstones era of dinosaurs or fossils. We're living in the year 2019, where we progressed with technology, with society, and with human growth and behavior. And it is different. Alternative lifestyles are nothing new. They've been around for years. We all just have to look at history. The Greeks, the Egyptians, they all had lifestyles similar to the ones we have today. Makeup was part of a tradition amongst a higher rank of society. Just because you wear makeup doesn't mean that your orientation is going to be gay. There are plenty of men who live a straight life, and I've had patients come and talk to me about this. They like to dress up as women to make love to their wives, and their wives like that. Now, how do you describe that? Do you call it being gay, or do you call it being kinky, or do you call it being it's fun? Each individual person is a product of their environment, the macro, the outside world, the micro inside. What Alex was saying about foundation is, when you've got a set of core values and your moral standards are good, that is what you should be concerned about.
But this is great. You're gonna play this podcast to your mom. I think she gets that because she's in that world. I think what she's mostly worried about is the family.
Landon's father's never seen him. He's never been involved in his life. When I told him I was pregnant, he said have an abortion, and has never been in his life. So my brother is his uncle, but even at school they all think it's his dad. So it's his father figure, he's really tough on Landon when it comes to anything that's pink. If Landon has something pink, it'll just go missing in the house, and it's because my brother takes it and throws it away, or won't let him have it. So it's really it's tough. I'm
going to share this with you. Landon is still identifying himself with himself. I don't think that boy still knows if he's gay or if he's kinky or if he's just a normal boy in his own light. And what I feel you should do is, your brother and your mom should seek help with guidance, professional help, to support Landon, because it's all about Landon. It's not about your brother or your mom, but ask Landon how he feels. If he feels distressed, or if he feels sad, and he feels unidentified within the family realm, because he may feel left out, you have to make sure that he feels, he's part of the tree. He's a branch of that tree, and that tree, which is a solid foundation he comes from, is based on love. On self-love, on love of the family. The other thing I want to offer you is, imagine a Cuban-American family in Philly, 60 years of living there, marrying an Italian man, which is my first cousin marrying an Italian man. And then here comes my cousin Marissa, who has two girls. And one of the girls is extremely feminine. She wants to be a J-Lo. She's a dancer. The father is African American. He's super athletic, good looking, nice guy. He's a military guy. And here comes Leia, who wants to be a boy now. And when I arrived in January, nobody told me until later. They wanted me to see this. And Leia says that her name is Leo, and that she is going to be like her father, that she wants to be a track coach, and that she cut her hair herself. I mean, her hair was up to the bottom, and she cut it short. She's about 6 now, and she came up to me and says, "I'm Leo. I'm a boy, and I'm going to play baseball, and I'm going to be, the all-star boy for my dad." The dad wanted so much a boy that all he would tell Marissa when she was pregnant was, "I want to have a son. I want you to have a boy. This is going to be our boy." And what was born was a girl. And I can't prove it scientifically because I would have to do a lot of research. I really feel that when a child is inside the womb and things are being talked about, that child listens to the outside world. And when they're born with already a developmental goal. And they're going to be who they're going to be. And it's just a natural process of life. And who are we to stop that? It's love. You have to look at it from the standpoint of love and support it. And continually tell that child, "I love you the way you are." Because that's what's important.
And I think Mel demonstrated that by letting him put makeup on her while she was filming. And she's been supportive. Now the question is how she needs to probably stand up for Latin and confront the family. I think that would be the step that she needs to take, right?
That would be the step that she should take. She should take the step that is intuitive in her. And there's a lot of data. You can look it up on the internet. You can read about it. A lot of people are today exemplifying different modalities of behavior. And what we used to think was weird is not weird today. Today is just a normal standard. I come from a very just old-fashioned, but loving family that they've always had functional relationships. And I'm a gay guy. I mean, when I was 29, my mother outed me in front of a group of my family. I'll never forget. And I was embarrassed. Here I am. Everybody knew. But I was very conservative. And like Alex, I started on my own. I graduated young from college. I went on into my master's and I bought my first home at 23. And I just wanted to be self-sufficient.
Well, I wish I was like that. I mean, I was partying, only partying.
Well, I went the other route because I wanted my parents to be proud of me. And I thought I'd be taking care of them. But I never fit in. And I was bullied. And I was bullied and it was hard. I remember at 13, 14, which is Landon's age, I felt like my life was going to end. I had a friend who committed suicide who used to come to my parents' house. The girlfriend of my brother's brother-in-law was a cop. And I thought that could happen to me. And the way that I learned to deal with it, because it was like a seed inside of me, I had to learn to replace that thought with all the happiness and all the things, from seeing that I came from a good family to knowing that I was going to make it somehow someday in life. And if you can teach that, if Landon would be depressed, and it sounds to me like Landon is doing okay, considering all the stuff with your mom. He's a strong boy. He has a strong personality, and he's not going to give up who it is he is. And I'm proud of him. And but if the secret to anything is to reassure that it's normal. What is not normal is for someone to come and bully him, or for somebody to hurt him.
So you were dealing with something about school.
No, he doesn't have any friends. The couple of friends that he has are the kids that nobody else likes at school. And I said, and those are the kids that you want to be friends with, because you're actually helping them. You're giving them self-esteem by showing them attention. So look at it as, it's not only just your friend, but this is somebody that you're helping feel better. These kids that make fun of you and they don't want to be your friend because you don't have nice things or whatever, those people are superficial. Who would want to, you say you're doing the right thing. I think your friends are great, I told him the day before yesterday, when my mom made the comment, no makeup and no getting in the pool, I looked at my mom because we were walking out the door. I looked at her and I said, well, if we put any makeup on, I'll be sure that I return him the way he is now, meaning, no makeup at all on his face. But what I did tell Landon was, I said, the only person in this world that you need to care about what they think is your mama. And your mama is totally okay with you having, feelings of wanting to do things that may be different from the other kids. Your mama is okay with it, and that's the only person that should matter. If grandma doesn't like it, then we'll just have to work around that. There's a time and a place for everything. So just keep in mind that your mama is the one that you need to care about, caring what you do, and I'm okay with it. So, and that seemed to make him feel a lot better. I could just tell by his body language,
That, Mal, you could open up your own clinic later after this and counsel moms. You're doing great.
Thanks.
I'm going to conclude with 7 secrets to making a child happy. Make sure you give your child enough support that teaches him or her to pave the way for success. That no matter what it is you do, where you fall or you get up, you're unique. Make sure that your child's dreams follow a way to happiness. That it doesn't matter whether it's makeup or girls' clothes or a bow on the hair, that you're proud of who he is. And make sure that he knows that you've always loved him since birth, the way he was exactly. And you're doing that. Create a home where happiness flourishes. If I were you, I would not take him to grandma's house so much if grandma's doing that, because it's going to hurt his self-esteem. You don't want that. Make sure that you foster connections with children that are like-minded like him. Create a support group. You're going to find neighbors and people all over the place. Keep and make sure, which we talked about earlier, that you tell him about the strengths and weaknesses and the world out there. That there are people that can harm you, and that you have to be strong and you have to be proud of who you are. Meanwhile, one of my research associates says, don't try to make your child happy. Let him learn to make himself happy with who he is. It's not about you, it's about him. And then finally, make sure that keep an open line of communication always with him. Whether it's about sex, whether it's about, emotional, whether it's about drugs, whether it's about, movies, happiness, just, turn everything into light and love. And I think that you're on your way to a beautiful child who's going to be a beautiful adult. And don't think that just because he's doing this is who he is. It could be a trend. It could be, fashionable. But you're blessed, as he's blessed to have you in his life and have each other. Thank you very much. Any closing thoughts?
No, I thank you so much. I feel at ease a little bit better that, I'm doing the right thing by just accepting him for who he is, and just take it day by day.
Actually, I think you're the foundation of how he's going to behave and be and think of every obstacle he would have. The guidance that you give him now and what you tell him, he's always going to think about it, and that's the way he's going to maneuver his life and think, mom told me this, mom told me that, and that's what's going to make him strong.
I agree.
I'd like to thank both of you for being on the pod.
Don't fall off the pod!
Hey Podheads, if you have not done so, you can download our very own app. It's available at all app stores. And there's no excuse for missing out on the pod, because the pod is available wherever you can listen to a podcast.
Ready.